Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello, people, and welcome to Footy JUDGEMO. Listen, it's the real talk on Man United are actually closing in on the top four, closing in actually on Liverpool. Leny Yoro gonna wear number 15. He's announced today. The Ugarte bid is incoming. The Ligt bid is incoming as well. And also there is talk about signing the experienced French midfielder Rabiot on a free. Man United are moving into the right direction. We'll see what the panel thinks. We have a Man United fan, of course. We have Arsenal fans, of course. And we have Jamie Phillips for Liverpool. We're here to talk about that. And also we're here to talk about, it looks like actually that Trent to Real Madrid thing is not just a rumor. It's actually something that Real Madrid are looking to actually maybe try to see if they can lure Trent to join the Galacticos they are forming from next season, from this season, this coming season, with 1 year left. His contract, is that something that Liverpool should entertain if Trent is not renewing his contract? Can they afford to actually let Trent go? We'll talk about that. And also the big news about Arsenal. Finally, some positive or negative news about Arsenal, however you want to take it. Thomas Partey, which is, I think, is the key for Arsenal, maybe winning the league next season if he stays fit, is staying at Arsenal next season, along with some sales that are going on with Eddie Nketiah and Reece Nelson bids from West Ham. So Arsenal keeping their star Thomas Partey that it doesn't want to go. Is this something that Arsenal fans want or Arsenal fans don't want? We'll talk about that as well. But listen, guys, if you're here for the first time, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you're new, let's get to 200 likes live here. And if you're watching this on the replay, before you go on and enjoy the show, I want to get what you think. I want to hear all your opinions, people in the chat. Everyone's opinion about Thomas Partey, about Man United, about Liverpool with Trent and Arne Slot, and is it worth it taking the risk with Trent or without Trent? But let's hit that like button. If you're here for the first time, smash the like button, because let's be serious now. And I'm just going to say it here when we start. I know that a lot of people want to banter Manchester United. They overpaid, didn't overpay. At the end, Leny Yoro is a Manchester United player, right? I'm not a financial advisor. I think they overpaid, but that's just my opinion. But at the end, the guy is a Man United player, not a Real Madrid player. So at the end, they got their guy. That's what's most important. If I'm supporter of Man United, I'm going to sit there and say, at the end, I wanted the kid, the talent, whatever, and at the end, I got the kid. He's a Man United player, announced today, said his first words, and that's it, right? Are Man United actually moving into the right direction, or is it looking like it's another year with Man United spending and nothing is happening, right? Banter is over. I want to hear what you guys think. There is Jamie is here, of course. Ahmed is here. Giuseppe. We're going to call you Adib from now on. Is that okay? You need to change your name to Adib. It's better. Is that your last name?
How did you know that?
You literally have your last name actually on your StreamYard.
Oh my days. Oh my god. I was like, what the hell is this guy like following me or something? Because I don't give my surname out like that. You know what?
It's
you
all right.
Well,
it's everywhere now. It's everywhere now.
I don't think Ahmed, I don't think people are stalking you, Ahmed. It's not that deep. Do you think it's that deep? Do you guys think, seriously, do you guys think YouTube is that deep though?
Nah, I don't mind, to be fair. You can call me a deep.
Hang on, I'm just going to make a catfish profile.
It sounds better as well. It sounds better as well, a deep.
A deep is better. Well, listen, hit that like button, people. let's talk at least, guys. We're almost 300 people here right off the bat. So let's get the likes up, guys. Come on. 100 likes is the minimum when we start the show, and then we go from there. Come on. Hit the like button. Listen, guys. The banter is over for Manchester United. We joked, we laughed, everything laughed. Olu, you got something waiting, so get okay, have at it, and then we'll move on from there. Have at it. Go ahead.
No, it's cool. That's just
Go ahead. Have at it. It's your time. Now go ahead.
I'm gonna let the rivals talk first.
No, I'm not. Listen, all I'm saying is that we're moving from -1 to +1 next year. So I'm just happy for Ahmed. You know, we get to call him +1 from now on. That's all.
+1.
Okay, so Ahmed, where do you think, man? You know, it looks like you're moving in the right direction. You wanted the signings, you got the signings, right? Man United. It looks like you're gonna wrap up this Ligt deal and Ugarte deal. The links today with Rabiu, I don't know if you like him or not. I think it's a fantastic for free, Rabiu, and he's gonna come in and earn like similar to Leny Yoro. What a signing, to be honest. I think Arsenal should be all over this deal for free. Liverpool should be all over it, but Liverpool have a lot of midfielders. It's a free signing with someone who is a French experience, won leagues before. But let's just talk about the signings that Man United are doing. Are you moving into the right direction? And what's the aim next season? What's the aim this season? Season about to start in a month. What's the aim? Is it challenging for third, or is it doing top 4? What is going on?
Yeah, if we get all of those signings in there, then Manchester United and Ten Hag, he must challenge for the league title next season, no matter what.
What?
He must challenge. He must challenge. He must challenge because people are not realizing.
Okay, let's hear his argument first.
Yeah. I'll tell you why we must challenge it. Because first of all, this isn't Ten Hag's first season. This is his 3rd season now in the Premier League. So he's not a newcomer like a Slot, like a Maresca, yeah? If we get all them signings in, including Ugarte, Ligt, bro, we're addressing every single position that he wants, yeah? He clearly wants these players. And Man United and Ineos are putting that into... The actions are backing it up. So this whole thing about, if he gets top 4 and if he wins a trophy, that's not enough, by the way. It's not enough because each season we're supposed to be progressing, yeah? And in his first season, he got 3rd. Second season, he came 8th. Bro, he shouldn't be getting any lower than 3rd next year. I'll be so real. So go challenge for the title. I'm not saying he should be winning it, yeah? But with the resources that he's been given and the player quality that he has.
Can you define challenge for the title? Like be there and thereabout? Like
nah,
I want to just establish a baseline so we go from there, right?
He should be getting over 80 points next season. Over 80 points.
Okay, so Ahmed, let me ask a question. So this is interesting. I love it. First of all, confidence is a beautiful thing, and I think all fans of like traditional big clubs should want.
I'm not saying we're going to win the title and challenge. I'm saying that's the expectation that should be.
I know. I agree with you. I think all fans of big clubs should want their team to challenge for the title. I think that should be a baseline, right? Like, let's if we're going to be real. Now, that point you just made is interesting because the year before, when Arsenal fell off with 5 games to go, most people said it wasn't really a challenge anymore. It wasn't really challenge for the league. That's what the sort of consensus was, right? Now, so if we go for last year, which was Arsenal finished with 89 points, and then we said they challenged. I just looked at what you finished last year. You had 60 points. Arsenal had 89 points. You're talking about a 29-point swing. So you're saying with the likes of Zerki, Lamau, and I forgot what play. No, not Lamau. Sorry. What's his name? Yoro. Ugarte, you're expecting a 29-point swing if we're going by last year. Okay, that's interesting.
Yes. The reason why I keep the standards really high here is because, listen, Mo, you know my stance on this manager. I don't rate him at all. And I've been saying get rid of him. Now that he's here, I can't do anything about it, yeah? But just because he is here, I can't be saying, just get top 4, because, bro, like, come on now. Like Aston Villa.
I think we're misunderstanding Ahmed here. And I think the chat, you guys are misunderstanding him. Ahmed isn't okay. Before I go on and explain, I think what I understood from you.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what you think will happen though?
I don't think anything's actually going to change. In terms of the coach.
Because I think people are misunderstanding what you said. Yeah. And I think you said it the wrong way. I think you said the people understood that you think if these signings are coming, Man United will challenge for the league. But I don't think you think that is going to happen. Or you
I
think
don't
that is going to
think-
happen? I'm not understanding.
I'll
Because,
tell you what it
because
is.
there are two different things. Let me just explain to you something, okay? Jamie, and I'm going to ask Jamie the same question. If Jamie sits here and tells me, and I've spoken with Jamie for many shows, for many weeks, and hear me out, people, before you jump in on Ahmed's throat and think, oh my God. Jamie, HUSAM, when I speak to them, they say, we aren't in rebuild. We have a ready-made team that came third. We need to progress. We need to keep challenging for the league.
Exactly. Yeah.
But you ask them, what do you think is going to happen? They say, but we think we are not going to challenge. We will have to challenge, but we aren't going to challenge. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
There is
Yeah.
difference between expectations and what you actually think is going to
There's a
happen. I
difference
want
between-
this to clarify this, right?
But can I say something quick? Sorry, I think
And I know this is very like, you need to think about what I just said, because it's not easy to sit here in front of YouTube and Ahmed saying that we should challenge for the league, but understand that he doesn't think that.
I
Go
personally,
ahead.
yeah.
I
I'll
say-
just say it before you go. Yeah, just
Wait,
2 seconds.
let me,
Go on.
because he needs to clarify this.
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
going to get clipped, and Ahmed is going to get ridiculed, and it's going to look like he said something stupid.
Exactly. So we know that Ten Hag has already finished third in his first season. Second season, I don't believe the reason why we finished so low was because of the injuries. I think it was excuses. But now that he's been here this is his third season now in the Premier League, he should be finishing higher than third. And with the resources we're giving him and the players we're giving him and the positions we're addressing, we should be challenging. Now, do I believe in his coaching? No, I do not believe it. But the expectation and the standards should be really high because this isn't his first season. That's my take.
I
And
agree on that.
just for me, I think that's the wrong expectation to have, in my opinion. This is all my opinion.
Okay.
And the reason I think it's the expectations wrong is because you're only having that expectation because of the name Manchester United. That's like a 96-year-old Usain Bolt saying he should be able to run 100 meters in 12 seconds because he done it back in the day. He shouldn't have that expectation of himself. So for me, Man United shouldn't have that expectation because of how bad you were. And I do agree with what you're saying in the sense of you're bringing in all the things that you need. But to be competing, because when you listen, saying finishing third or finishing in the top four is fair, but to say to compete with the level of consistency that Arsenal and Man City showed the past 2 years, I don't think when you get that many players in a new team, you can garner that consistency from the team straight off the bat. It might happen.
Did Arsenal, I'm pretty sure with Arteta, yeah, I'm not going to count the half the season when he came in, yeah. Let's talk about his first full season. He came 8th, and the second full season, he finished 5th. The third season did not challenge. Did he not challenge in his third season?
Yes,
So wait,
but what I'm
so
trying
wait.
to watch.
There you
Hold
go
on,
then.
sorry, mate. Hold on.
There you
The
go.
difference is, first of all, the progression was up. We went 5th. We just about missed out on top 4, and then we could see it already there with our eyes. This is the thing. When you Arsenal fans, other fans laughed at Arsenal, said you bottled it. Arsenal fans were angry that we bottled it, but we were like, all right, we're starting to see it now with the team. We need to tweak this and tweak that and bring in certain players, and it will push us on to then be able to be getting. We thought guaranteed top 4, and then we were surprised that we overachieved and competed. So really, for you guys, it should be that the top 4 is the expectation for you guys. I agree, mate. You shouldn't have no expectation lower than top 4. Yeah,
The only teams that I will allow to finish above us is Man City and Arsenal. Those are the only teams.
Why shouldn't Chelsea finish above you guys?
Because Chelsea have a new manager. They shouldn't be finishing above us. They shouldn't be. We have a manager who has.
He's right, guys. He's right. He's right.
You're telling me
I don't rate Ten Hag.
What I don't rate.
Can I ask you something? I don't rate Ten Hag. Can I ask you something for real? Ask Jamie. When Klopp finished 5th, did you expect the next season to just scrape top 4, knowing that the season before you finished 1 point behind Man City?
No,
Because of one season.
Yeah, different.
But it's different with Klopp, I suppose. But look, even with Arne Slot at Liverpool next season, I still expect Liverpool finishing the top 3. I don't think much has changed at all this summer yet for that to be any different.
With a new ownership and stuff at Manchester United, with a new ownership and a new regime, it takes bits of time to build that stuff. Arsenal done it. That's what people don't realise. That from when Arteta come in, yeah, you've got. I'll be real with you. I know Ten Hag's been there. And I don't rate Ten Hag. I think you should have got rid of him. But you now actually, with the new ownership, you have to look at it like this is Ten Hag's first season at the club. That's
No.
I know you won't, and you'll want him gone, and I can agree with that. But technically, now his new role in the club, the way he'll manage the team, the way he'll coach and be as a manager for your club, it's basically like it's going to be his first season under, because this new ownership is going to be completely different. And obviously, he ain't going to get that. That's why he'll be sacked. That's why, in my opinion, he don't finish the season for Manchester United, and Van Nistelrooy will be your manager come January and that till the end of the season. That's how I've envisioned happening at Manchester United next season. But I do believe that this new ownership and that it's going to take a bit of time, because they're going to have to mend all the broken parts of Manchester United internally and externally, which Arsenal were doing. And I get that's why you look at Arsenal and go, his third season, but we were already laying them foundations for his first 2 seasons. You ain't even laid them foundations yet.
Yeah,
that's how I see it.
And to jump, sorry, Ahmed, to jump on that as well. I mean, also just to add, like, Arsenal had to gut the club out. Like you were talking root and branch sort of removal of players. To get rid of your captain in Aubameyang. I mean, I always say, like, Arsenal fans suffered when our captain was doing balloons, and it was swag inside the dressing room, right? Like, there was a root and branch, yeah, gutting of the club. So with the thing about Ten Hag is that Ten Hag hasn't had to do that. I know you're buying new players, you're refreshing the team, but it's not like he's changing the culture. He's set a culture that seems to have failed next year. And it's going to be difficult to see if he can change that culture again. Because I always believe I believe that people think management is just tactics. I think management is more than just tactics. It's about setting the culture in the club, setting the environment that players want to come in on a day-to-day basis. And unless he's changing that, and I mean, Mo, you probably remember. I don't know if you remember, but the first thing I said about Ten Hag when, like, the first time I spoke to Mo and on the previous platform, the first thing I said was that I had an issue with him. And the issue was that when Ronaldo had that issue with him in pre-season, not even when it was during the season, the way he reacted to it, it felt like he was being talked down to by Ronaldo. And ever since then, it just seems like he's always been the weaker of against the players, even with the Sancho situation. So unless he's going to change the way he approaches things, and maybe the new structure that your new ownership is bringing is going to help build that, I still see the same problems existing, right? Even if you're bringing in all these new players. But I do agree with you. As a football fan, and a football fan of a team who has won Champions Leagues and titles, your expectation should always be that my team should win. That's the delusion that we need to live with, or else there's no point of us supporting teams, right?
Also, as well, the reason why this should be the expectation is because this guy has been, if we get all them signings that Mo has said, we're pushing to 600 million, how much he's been given. That's a lot of money. And I'm not trying to see a guy, and you got to understand, we still have no style of play. We've not had style of play for 2 seasons, so we don't even have that. So the third season, he must play good football, first of all. He must be playing good football and also challenging and winning the Europa League. That's what should be happening. But do I think it's going to happen? No, because I don't believe in the coaching, which is why we brought in now the appointments of Ruud van Nistelrooy and the other guy, what's his name, Hack. I'm pretty sure they worked with each other at Ugarte or something. So I'm going to see in this preseason and the early signs of the Premier League whether the style has changed, and then I can give my full. All right, we'll see. I'll see whether things have changed or not. But in the meantime, I still have my reservations in terms of the coaching. And if it does go bad, just like you said, by the way, I don't know what your name is. Sorry. The manager will get changed. This is why they've only given him a 1-year extension and not a brand new contract, because they will see what he does with the resources he's been given. He's been given a lot, by the way, a lot of help. New directions, new players, new staff. Everything's been changed for him, so the culture is changing. So yeah, man, I'm not trying to.
But he's not the one.
I'm actually with him. To be honest with you guys, if you remove the name Man United from it and you look at just a top club, right? Yeah. Forget the banter and just be honest. And if there is a manager at any top club around in the world, Barcelona, Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City, it doesn't. By the way, I'm just going to tell you this: Spurs, right? Yeah. And a manager joined the club, had 200 million the first season, came third, and in the second season regressed. If you back him again in the third season and you give him all these signings, you're expecting him to only at least be the same as the first season. At least. At least him, if he finishes 5th, because you already progressed, the only way you keep your job, Ten Hag, for another season If you go back to the first season, you already have. Otherwise, overall in these 3 seasons, you regressed. You didn't progress at the end. You need a style of play, as Ahmed said.
Yep.
It's not only a style of play and you're living like ninth. It's not, this is not Brighton. Sometimes football fans, they treat their clubs, with all due respect to Brighton or Crystal Palace or Wolves, right? This is Manchester United. This is Arsenal Football Club. This is Liverpool. The word style of play cannot mask over results. It just can't for top clubs. We cannot sit here and Man United are 8th and they have position. It doesn't work like this, because at the end they spend million. They are closing in on £500 million in a 3-year tenure for this guy. Style of play is not enough. And I don't know the people in the chat should understand. If Arteta keeps playing an amazing style of play, but you're freaking 5th or 6th, that's not good for Arsenal Football Club in your 3rd year, no matter what the circumstances are. For Inter the same, for Juventus the same, for Milan the same, Madrid, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, Bayern Munich, it's the same thing. You know what I mean?
Ten Hag shouldn't be at the club, though. Regardless of what he does this season, Ten Hag shouldn't be at the club. Obviously, if he competes and he really improves, that might turn you around. But at the end of the day, I do generally believe full-heartedly that they are basically grooming Van Nistelrooy into taking the manager position, and that's why they only gave him a year extension. Bring him.
You know, that's bullshit, though. It's so jarring that they are doing this, bro.
It's bullshit, 100%. But I think that's why Van Nistelrooy's gone there. I think they've promised Van Nistelrooy.
He rejected Burnley, didn't he?
Yeah. I think they've promised him he's going to be the manager come next season. But why not just have the balls under new ownership to sack Ten Hag and just give it to Van Nistelrooy? He's also a club legend, so I feel like fans would give him a bit of leeway, knowing that you need to build the foundation with new ownership and that. I don't think there would have been crazy amounts of pressure on him next season. I think he would have got a buy anyway, but I think that's probably their way of grooming him into the role, which is crazy, I think. But I generally believe that's what it is. So that's why I don't think there's expectation. I don't think the expectation of the new ownership is for you to compete next season.
So before you go, Mitch, 2 things. The first thing is on style of play. I mean, Ten Hag already said what his style of play was going to be last year. He said, I want to be the best
transitional team.
So I think sometimes trust when someone tells you who they are, believe them. Like it's a classic saying, right? If he says he wants to be the best transitional team, that's what he's building. So I think the idea of maybe pass and go and shapes around the midfield is something that he just does not buy into. And even if he says that he did an Ajax when he had an Ajax team and now he's got a Man United team, no, if he wants to do that in Man United, he can do it. So there's no excuse for that. So I think Man United fans need to just accept the fact that he wants to play transitional football. And very quickly, the problem with the Van Nistelrooy thing is they've already done this with Ole. Like they've already brought a legend, and look how that panned out. So it just sounds like you're repeating the same mistakes you've already made.
The only thing, he managed Cardiff and he got them relegated, and he was at Mulder. So with Ruud Van Nistelrooy, at least he's got like a respectable CV because he's managed PSV, I'm pretty sure, and I think he's won trophies over there. So I understand. I understand the concept of it, but I don't think Ruud is no Ole. I don't think Ruud Van Nistelrooy is ready to be managing United right now. But in terms of like if Ten Hag was to get sacked, I don't see why they wouldn't give him the full thing. I would rather want like a proven manager in terms of like he's got his own ideas and that. But as for Ten Hag, the reason why I feel like people are not understanding. We're talking like this guy's an upcoming man. You know, he's older than Pep Guardiola. Like he's an established manager he's older than Pep. We're treating him like he's Mikel Arteta, like, or give him time, like he's upcoming. Bro, he's 55 years old. You know, like this is why had we had a young manager, then I would be saying things completely different. And had we had a style of play, I would make the expectations a bit less because I know the type of manager we have. But with Ten Hag, bro, this guy's managed Ajax, like they're a big team. He's played in the Champions League. He's done all those things. He's faced Madrid. This isn't new to him. So for me, this is what annoys me, because he said that he wants to play a transitional team. You've got Wilcox who says the style of play has to be possession. So there's going to be 2 conflicting ideas, by the way. So that's why I'm going to see what's going to happen. Do you get it? So it's I don't know.
But people treat Ten Hag as this is his first season.
Exactly. Yeah.
They really do, bro.
It's
They
crazy.
really treat Ten Hag as his first season. They treat Manchester United as like, oh, it's a new board now, it's a new structure, it's the first season. The man has worked with Bruno Fernandes for years.
Yeah.
The man has worked with Sandro for years, with Diego Dallo for years, with Marcus Rashford. This is his second time with Garnacho. Like,
Sorry.
he worked with second. Go ahead, Jamie. Go ahead, Jamie.
I'll go on, Jamie.
What like with Man United? What the idea of it looks like they're trying to buy young players to build for a future. Yeah. So if you're doing that, why have you got a manager that you're not too sure on? That makes no sense. Why don't you? You should have got rid of the manager this summer if you're not sure on him, and build for the long term. Like this next season, no one expects Man United to do anything amazing next season because I think they're looking at it and thinking United have got to build for the future. This is what United haven't been doing for the last decade. They just build for one season, and if it don't work, they try and build for the next season. I think what Ineos are trying to do is build for longevity, right? That's why they're buying young players with potential to go up in their game year in, year out. So if you go do that, change the manager.
I think with
sorry.
Ineos, yeah, when it comes to the managers, yeah, like it's not like they've not tried getting in new managers. Reports were coming out before the FA Cup that they spoke to managers and they interviewed Tuchel, they interviewed De Zerbi. So it's not like their intention was to change the manager. It's only because they rejected United. They rejected Ineos. So I think Ten Hag, with what happened here is that Ten Hag was their last resort because of the results of what happened when it came to interviewing different gaffers. You got to understand, like even what's that Fulham guy called as well? What's
Silver.
that Fulham? Yeah, they were looking at him. I'm pretty sure the compensation to pay Ten Hag was around 9 or 10 mil. So I think what they're doing first year is they're working on the structure because that's the hardest part. I think they're doing the hardest part first, and then the manager is very replaceable. Do you get it? So maybe they're doing the most difficult thing first, and then towards the end of this, because I don't know. That's what they could be doing, but I just believe it was just down to finance.
Well, 1 second.
Okay, I want to go ahead. Go ahead.
But
I wanted to say something. Let's go ahead.
Yeah. I just want to say something very quickly. So the problem I've got though with that thought is that, I mean, first of all, they could have got rid of Ten Hag if they wanted to, because like you said, we just brought in Van Nistelrooy, who was a manager previously and was free to be hired. So I don't think it watches that they couldn't get rid of him. I think they just made a decision. And I think, okay, when you look at Ajax, the Ajax team that he managed, how many big personalities do you think existed in that dressing room versus Man United? Man United was probably the first dressing room where he's managed where there were massive personalities that he had to deal with. And ultimately he's failed in dealing with those personalities. And I think there's a world where maybe with the purchase, my dog's going off now, with a world where you're buying younger players. Sorry, let me just get rid of the dog. Where you're buying younger players that actually maybe it does suit him better to manage those younger personalities, those less sort of in-your-face personalities than the old sort of Man United where you had the Ronaldos, you've got the Bruno, even though Bruno's probably on his side and so on and so forth.
Yeah. So no one, I want to just get this EMV here is saying a team drops and picks up 20 points maximum season on season. I don't think Man United are going to get 80 plus points. I just don't see it happening. But no one here is actually seeing Man United as this is progression over last season. The signings they're doing, the way they're doing, the signing young players, the 23 years old and the 18 years old, and they're going to the Ligt to the 24 years old. No one here is like, Jamie, just simple question, Jamie. You don't think that Man United with these signings can come for third from Liverpool?
No, because they still got a lot of crap around the squad that they got to rely on. That's the problem. Like, you know, like their attack is not very good. They don't score enough goals. They need better goal scoring forwards. The midfield is solid, but is it creative enough? The defense is pretty decent there, and they've got an all right goalkeeper. So they got the stuff there. I don't expect Man United to be massively better next season, but it's about longevity. And Man United haven't done the longevity game for over a decade now. Let's say they break it up season after season. They don't give like that. They've got to let things go now. So get these young players in that can improve. I don't expect Yoro to be like world class next season, and he's the greatest centre back in the world. But in 3 years' time, he could be. But you got to get to that point, and I think that's what Man United fans need to do. It's about patience.
I think Man United can get
patience.
third. I think Man United can get third next season because of the other teams as well. But there is a difference between getting third and competing for the league. But I think they can finish third and finish 20 points off of the top of the league. Like I generally believe that. I generally believe that because I think Liverpool could have a.
So you think Man United are better than Aston Villa, Spurs?
No, I'm not saying they are. I'm not saying they will. I'm saying they could because
you're saying the same level. Same level.
Yeah, because I think with the signings
Similar,
they're
yeah.
making, there's a similar level with the signings they're making. Because like we look at Spurs, Ange had a good year. He could fall off next year. He could go backwards next year. Unai Emery's a great manager, but Aston Villa, they overachieved last year. Maybe you see what happened with Newcastle. Obviously, Newcastle might be back, but I think that Man United could finish third. But once again, I say this as there's a difference between finishing third and competing for the league. I don't think in a chance in hell they compete for the league, but I don't think anyone will actually compete for the league next season apart from Man City and Arsenal, personally.
Maybe.
I
agree.
Yeah, I also feel the fear factor United still doesn't exist. Like if you remember back in the days, for those who are older, right? One of the things that you knew you're playing Man United, there's a fear factor when they rocked up to your stadium.
You go to Old Trafford, you're 1-0 down. That's what people used to say.
Yeah, like you just knew.
Literally, you walked out of the tunnel, you're 1-0 down. That's what people used to say that about Man United. You walk out of the tunnel, Old Trafford, you're 1-0 down already.
Bro, listen, I'll tell you what, you look in the stand, you see those guys with the turbans on, and you go, you know what, we're losing this game. Because those guys were a staple of United always winning those games. I always remember them every single time you conceded or just pan to them. And that was United. They instilled fear. And I think this team does not have that fear factor. And I think until they rebuild that, like let's take Yoro, for example. Yoro's coming to play in a stadium that has 75,000 people. Forget the talent level that he might or might not have, because we don't know, right? Like, to be fair, most of us probably haven't really watched him play to be able to judge that. The mentality that he's going to have. And you look at defenders, like defenders tend to get better as they mature, right? It's very rare you get like an 80-year-old defender who starts for a big team. Like you look at like sort of maybe Puyol or Piqué, like really, really top class defenders who do that. So bringing someone like that and then dropping into what was a mess last year, with then saying go and play in front of 75,000 people and deal with the pressure.
I don't think he's gonna play, my friend. I don't think he's gonna play. I don't think he's gonna play that. I don't think he's gonna be the guy to start every week in, week out.
I hope.
By the way, I still think if Harry Maguire stays, if they don't get Ligt, it looks like they are trying to sell Harry Maguire and Lindelof and get Ligt over the line, and another centre back. By the way, it looks like they are going next season. They want to go with Lisandro Martinez, Yoro, Ligt, Johnny Evans, and another one, by the way. They are looking to go with 5 centre backs, not 4. 5.
Which makes sense.
They are looking to sell Harry Maguire, to be honest with you, and Lindelof. And by the way, if Man United can fucking do this and get another defender in, I'm fucking putting my hands down, and these guys know what they're doing.
You got to understand as well.
Know what they're doing.
Ligt's average, though. I don't get it.
No, Ligt is not average. Ligt is not average. For that money.
The man moves like he's 37. I've watched Ligt play. The man moves like he's 37. It's mad.
Bro, you know, not, but I think it's a good signing for them if he gets over the line. But listen, guys, I wanted to just there's a tweet from The Athletic 14 minutes ago. I'm gonna go back to the banter a little bit, right? I'm sorry. I have to say this, right? I'm sorry, Man United fans. Listen, there's 350 people here. Guys, let's get to 200 likes, okay? Guys, stop what you're doing now. It's embarrassing because we only have 115 likes. It's the same as the 115 charges, same as 115 Leny Yoro's salary. Hit that like button, people, right? Guys, hit that like button, people. Let's get to 200 likes right off the bat. Come on, hit that like button now. The like button, if you don't know what it is, it's underneath the live chat. They said, Marca said that. The Athletic said, there were concerns within Leny Yoro's camps that he would not play if he stayed at Lille and to wait for a free agent move to Real Madrid.
Under pressure. So basically you're saying, what you're telling me right now is that Man United bought a player who was being held ransom. You guys paid his ransom fee. You paid his ransom fee. Oh my goodness.
Say that again. What happened? I didn't hear that. Say that again. Okay. This morning, the Marca, we know Marca is the Spanish voice for Real Madrid. Okay? Yeah. We know that. it's the PR newspaper for Real Madrid, you know? They said that actually Lille threatened not to play Leny Yoro at all if he doesn't join Man United because they triple the money they're offering, which is, I get it. It's actually true. Hold on. I didn't believe it. I did not believe it because it's Marca. In the Athletic, though, that's the source, there were concerns within Leny Yoro's camp that he would not play if he stayed at Lille to wait for Real Madrid next season. I'm not salty. This is me reading a tweet. I didn't make up this tweet. I didn't write it.
So basically, if he waited, he wouldn't have gotten game time with Madrid, but he chose United because he wanted.
No, he wouldn't have got game time with Lille. They were threatening not to play him because they wanted to push him towards Man United rather than wait out his contract and go to Real Madrid. Basically,
Lille threatening Euro now. Is that what?
Yes, that's what it's saying. And it's what just reminds me of. Do you remember that the news came out that the Barcelona board were laughing when Tottenham bought Emerson for 30 million or whatever it is, and then Tottenham fans were like, how can you say that you guys are crap? And then now you're seeing the reality of it. You guys have been duped.
I'm just gonna move on. I'm just gonna move on. I looked it up. Okay, Joshua's saying, look it up. I didn't see that Man United were working in Euro until June, until that news came. I didn't see that anywhere. But anyway, listen, let's go back to forget the Athletic. The Athletic are liars. The people that work in the Athletics, they lie. They always lie to us. We know that. The Marca people, they lie. The Athletic people, they always lie to us. We know that for sure.
No, we believe in this.
It's a lie. It's a lie, bro.
No,
it's a lie.
No, it's true. It's 100% true.
You're trying to cope, innit? That's why you're trying to cope.
Bro. I do think there's probably an element of truth.
No, I don't care. I actually in the beginning of the show. I literally said in the beginning of the show, when I started the show, forget the banter and everything. I really want to be a little bit objective about how Man United are acting. I swear to God, and to every Man United fan, the people that say I hate Man United, I don't like Manchester United.
You know what it is, though? I just want to end.
The least club I like in England. Let's just put it this way. It's the least club I like in England. Okay? For a reason or two. However, I am very objective. I promise you, Ahmed, if you had Hansi Flick as your manager with the same people and you're doing these deals, I would say you are in a better place.
Yeah, that's fine.
All the teams, you are equal to Liverpool. If Man United went in and, for example, got a top manager like a Hansi Flick, or I'm going to give you another name. If you freaking got Xavi Hernandez, the guy that left Barcelona, right? I would say you are ahead of Chelsea, you're ahead of Spurs. The problem with Manchester United, with all these whatever signings you're making, you have a massive unknown factor, or you have a massive factor here, which is your horse went from being third to being eighth. Your horse regressed massively. Your horse broke his leg, and they are treating the horse. They're going to the next race with the same horse. That is my point. Guys, people think that, oh my God, I have an agenda. I have maintained the same thing. Erik ten Hag has to prove us all wrong. He doesn't have enough credit in the bank for me to sit here to believe he's going to turn it around. And the majority of Man United fans think the same.
No, but I was going to say, this isn't directed at you, Mo, yeah? But what I'm saying is that this Euro deal has absolutely rattled the fan base, the rivals to the core. You know what's mad? I went and I checked on Twitter, yeah? There was, when Euro was signed, you know what was trending? FSG out. These Liverpool fans are crying.
Yeah, it's because a lot of these Liverpool fans are born backwards. Don't get it right.
Hold on.
Hang on, because you mentioned Liverpool fans. I just say, I don't give a monkey's crap about Euro, because 5 weeks ago, like about 90% of the planet, I never heard of him.
Yeah, but
so I can't care. I don't care. No, I literally don't care. When I watched Gerald Kwanzaa last year have exactly the same stats as Yeni Loro this last year playing for Lille.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is to you, yeah? You don't
Don't
have
care.
to know the player, yeah. But if Madrid are touting this guy as high potential, it means that
Okay, no, no,
wait,
let's
let
not
me
do
land,
this.
let me
No,
land.
Madrid didn't value him. That's why he hasn't
Stop.
gone there.
No, but let me
let
land.
him go.
though.
Let him go.
Listen,
Let him go. Go on.
Let
Go
me
on.
land, yeah. These
Mad.
guys are acting like we're
Mhm.
getting some dusty 18-year-old yeah, that ain't touted as high potential from Real Madrid.
Hmm.
Liverpool Football Club tried to get this guy. Look at David Ornstein. Liverpool
We
pulled
never
away
bid for
from
him.
the deal.
Never bid for
Liverpool pulled away from the deal because they thought they was going to get him, and they saw Madrid and they shot themselves. You don't have that Jurgen Klopp juice anymore. We, Manchester United, the biggest club in
Oh
England,
my
came to Yoro and he was like, you know what? You want to go to Madrid? Let's move aggressive and let's go get Yoro. His heart
Can
is
I-
changed, and now we've got
So-
Yoro.
Can
We
I
got
ask you
Arsenal
something,
fans
No,
brother?
wait. Don't
Can I
go.
ask you something, brother?
The best question. One question.
rattled.
So Real Madrid always buy the best players at all times, right? None of them ever fail. Is that what
You're
you're
missing
saying?
the point, bro. You're missing the point.
No.
It's
You
not
said
about
you
missing
just
the point.
no.
You're
You
just
just no.
trying to
I
nitpick and look at the
I
negatives
listened
because
to
you
you.
can't even.
I
you
know.
can't even
I know.
explain
Stop, Ahmed. I listened to you. You just said that Real Madrid wanted him as
Yes.
part of your argument for why he's good, right? So I'm saying
Yes.
to you. So does that mean every single Real Madrid signing has been good?
So far, their
Has every-
signings have been calm, bro. They've got Aldo Golo,
Okay.
they've got Tchouameni, they've got I don't really rate Bellingham, yeah, but he's done it.
How about
He's had a
how
good season.
how?
but-
Okay,
so what are you
okay.
talking
How?
about?
Ahmed,
Rudiger
how about
is literally
Kepa?
their best centre back.
Wait. How about Kepa? Would you rate Kepa?
So you're looking at a backup
You
goalkeeper.
know, I'm asking a
Euro.
question.
Oh
I'm
my
asking
god!
you-
You see this? This
I
is
just said.
agenda, bro.
No. This is
I was
very
talking about
simple
Kepa.
logic.
Listen,
This
I
is
get
very
what he's
simple.
saying. I get what he's saying about this Euro. Euro's good, by the way. Let's not put that out there. Euro is a good player, bro. He's gonna be quality. He's 18 years old. He's a great, phenomenal signing for Manchester United. But I will ask you this, brother. Yeah, as a Man United fan, do you believe that you called him up, sold him what you want to do with him, and that's the reason he chose you? He chose to
chose us,
come
yeah.
to you. So you think that there weren't a forced hand in saying, because you think that he didn't think to himself, listen, I'm 18, let me play one more season here, and then I go for a free, get a nice signing bonus, and go to
Bro,
Real Madrid.
we
So
signed
you
him,
don't
yeah.
think there was a forced hand in his back? I'm not
No.
saying that he's
No.
gonna. By the way, Man United, very well done, because Man United done what they had to do. Man United put the bid in that had to get accepted to make all this happen, regardless of if he wanted you or not. And now you have him. I fully believe he'll be a Manchester player. He won't be like Mudryk crying at the club. I think he'll proper dedicate to Man United now. He'll end up being happy there. I generally believe that. But I don't think personally, and I think you do believe that you called him up and he said, actually, yeah, I want to go to
Yeah,
you instead
I'll
of
tell
going
you why.
Madrid.
I'll tell you why. Yoro, is he not on his last year? He could easily, yeah, wait one more year and go to Madrid on a free. Could he not have done that? Yes or no? He could have done that quite easily, yeah, if he really wanted Madrid that badly. So why would he go to Manchester United and accept a 5-year contract for being forced? If he really wanted Madrid, and let me tell you something as well, one more thing. Even if he was to go within 3 seasons, because that's what rival fans are clinging on, you're not going to keep him forever. I don't care if we're not going to keep him forever. We're still going to make profit on this guy regardless, because if Madrid do come in and get him, yeah, that means he would have played well for United and his market value is going to go even further. It's a win-win for United and it's a win-win for and it's a win-win for Ineos, and he's not going to be the only centre-back we're getting. Yeah, do you get it? And plus, if we do well, one more thing, if we start doing well and the manager changes in the near future and we start challenging, Yoro might look at it and be like, you know what? As much as I want Madrid, I see United moving in the right direction, yeah. And you know what? Let me give it an extra 4 seasons or 3 seasons. Yeah. So there's so many.
I agree with 98%. I agree with 98% of what you just said. The only thing I don't personally agree with is I don't believe that you called him up and he said, actually, I'd rather go to Man United than Real Madrid.
Let me ask
Ahmed, I think if Real Madrid, hold on, because what you're saying, what you're basically saying has happened, that is if once you'd spoke to him on the phone, if Real Madrid had matched your bid, he would have still come to you and not gone to Real Madrid.
And also, let me add to that question. You just said that. Why would he stay for an extra year? Let me ask you, if you got a job and I say to you, you can leave your job this year, right? Forget what happens in a year's time. You might get injured, you might get whatever it is. I'm going to give you a 72% increase on your pay. Are you going to stay or are you going to leave?
Bro, of course I'm going to take the extra. That's common sense to anything, bro.
Right.
You're just using one like
I'm giving you one part of your
all I'm saying, this is shall I tell you, everyone, including the chat yet. Shall I tell you the sign of a good signing? If everyone is trying to look at the negatives of a signing, it means it's a good deal. Because if this was that's why. If Brand, and let me tell everyone here, I swear, wallahi, yeah, if we got Branthwaite for 70 million, everyone will be cooking us. Everyone. They will say, ha, you overpaid for Everton.
I don't think anyone's saying it ain't a sensational signing.
To be fair, I've watched Braithwaite for 12 months or more, and he's a quality centre-back. Look, this is the thing I don't like about football YouTube, right? And it is the same everywhere, right? We've done it for a while.
Are you saying you don't like Footy JUDGEMO channel?
No. So this on every football YouTube channel, yeah, they talk about transfers.
Is that including Footy JUDGEMO channel?
Especially you.
But I don't remember anyone in the last 12 months mentioning Leny Yoro's name.
It doesn't.
I don't remember anyone mentioning his name as a possible player anyone would go and buy in the last 12 months. No one. Because let's be fair here, hardly anyone's watched him.
Did you know who Konate was when he was at Leipzig?
Yeah, because
did you watch him week in, week out?
Yes, he played with Upamecano. Yes, we know.
The only thing is that I will say, the only thing I'll say to defend Man United on this one is the reason no one 12 months ago was talking about him is because he's 18 years old and he had his breakout amazing season this year. That it's just happened. So everyone's seen it and gone.
So it's overhyping, ain't it? So it's overhyping.
No, it's not necessarily.
It's overhyped. Hang on. Is it overhyped like the Ligt? Because when we saw Ligt playing for Ajax, when we saw Ligt playing for Ajax, that breakout Ajax team with all them amazing youngsters, yeah, that went all the way in the Champions League semi-final up to Tottenham, everyone was talking about Ligt like he's going to be the best centre-back in the world, right? And he flopped. So far in his career, he's flopped, yeah?
Bayern Munich fans want to keep him, by the way. They said they want to keep him.
He's not the star he should have been. I think we can all agree with that, yeah? He can't even get in the Dutch national team. So what I'm talking about is overhyping these youngsters. I never do it. I hate overhyping youngsters because youngsters can look amazing for a year or two. They can look fantastic. And then what happens is they don't become the player they should have become and they start the dip.
I hear that.
That's why I don't
we signed Saliba. We signed Saliba in its
and you loaned him for 2 years. You were
we loaned him. We loaned him. Yeah. We signed him at like 17 years old. Then we loaned him for 2 years. 17, 18 years old. Then we loaned him for 2 years. The difference with Man United is I feel like I do think that, listen, to call him world class right now and they're saying they've got a world class signing, that yes is overhyping him. That's why I think personally the best thing for Man United to actually do is to sign a Ligt and actually not rely on Yoro next season. Let him embed into the team, have him as a thing. Yeah. But like to say that it's a bad, for anyone to say it's not a great signing or anything like that, I think that's a bit of fear in people, like scared that he could be like
a good signing
sort of thing. Like and for me personally, it's a great signing. The only thing I'll die on is I'll die on the hill of he did not choose Manchester United over Real Madrid. I'll die on that hill. But apart from that, fair play Man United, they got a good signing.
I was going to say very quickly though, I mean, the thing about, Jamie, I agree with your points. Anytime someone gets linked, they get hyped up, the compilations come out and people go crazy, right? But the function of a good scouting department is to unearth these gems. This is what we don't do. This is why we don't have UFB licenses, right? We don't scout, they do. So when they go for a player, like you'd hope that the scouting departments have figured out the
Chelsea fans do though.
I know. I told you all Chelsea fans got UFB licenses. I told you that already. But you'd hope the scouting departments have done the job and said, okay, this is how his play set fulfills the needs that we have. However, I will say this though, and the Saliba point is a great point, right? When Arsenal brought Saliba, again, I go back to it. Arsenal was a mess, and Arteta rightfully said, actually, I cannot have this player in this club with the fact that he's still very young and still very impressionable. I'm going to send him away back to his I know he had problems as well with some family problems as well, but send him out, go and learn, go mature, and then come back, because it's a different beast when you're playing, Marseille actually are a massive club in France, but it's a different beast when you're playing Saint Etienne than when you're playing at the Emirates and you're going into a club that's been in absolute turmoil, and now you're saying, I want you to go and lead. And you realize that, it's only when he had got to the team out that he brought him back into the fray and started playing him. So, like, the thing with Yoro is that this is where to Giuseppe's points, and I think to, even to Jamie's point as well about hyping the players, that like, let's just see how he settles in first of all. And yeah, we can do the banter thing of rivals are salty, etc., etc. But actually, let's just see how he settles in, because it's a different pressure playing in Lille than it is playing for Man United in front of 75,000 75,000 fans in the theatre of nightmares. It's totally different, right? So this is where you have to just roll it back a little bit. And listen, we can banter all the way, but like there has to be a realistic sort of view when we look at these players when they're being signed. And also, and this is why I agree, bring Ligt in, bring someone who can take the pressure off him when actually things get a bit tough, where you can actually rotate, not just have the whole thing sitting on his shoulders alongside Martinez.
There's a bit from the Athletic saying that part of Leny Yoro's contract is that he wanted to be a guaranteed starter.
You better hope not.
I don't think they would have put that in there, Maybe he did. Maybe he wanted like a guaranteed certain amount. Listen, at the end of the day, by the way, I don't know if Man United fans, they won't want to hear it or anything, but there is a possibility that he comes in and he ain't as good as people think he's gonna be. That's also a possibility. But there's also a possibility for all the other fans that he comes in next season, slots in straight away, and he's their best centre back one of their best centre backs last.
And the money
season.
looks good. And the money looks good.
And the money looks good.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
it's like at the end of the day, spending that money on.
To be honest. Yeah, go ahead, Finn. Go ahead.
So spending that money on any player is always going to have a risk factor. But I don't think, like people saying 50 millions, so much money. I don't think that's that much. If they'd spent 80 million.
The last thing is number one. Alex here is saying Yoro is going to be bigger than Saliba. Wait and see, United are back.
The thing is, though,
he's a Twitter fan, though.
Saliba never had this hype when he went to Arsenal, like Yoro's getting.
No, they called him the Mbappe.
To be honest with you guys, just on the reality thing. Thank you, Alex, so much for the super chat. On the reality, on the real part, right? To be honest, right? At the end, Man United got a good prospect. Overpaid or overpaid, that is besides the point. And for every one of us to say he can be bad. But when Juventus went and signed the Ligt, they had no idea he's bad. He looked very good. Leny Yoro looked good. Based on the compilations, I haven't watched him, right? But based on the stats, based on everything he'd done, Man United got one over the line, one of the good prospects as centre-backs around the world. And not a lot of rivals fans will admit that. Rivals fans will say, he might be bad. You overpaid. He might not be good. We didn't know Yoro. But at the end, Man United got a centre-back that has good potential, that looks good, that played first team for 35 games when he's 18 years old. You cannot say that about a lot of 18 years olds around in the world. Lille came fourth.
So, Mo,
that is the reality.
Mo, do you look good for Lille as well? Nicolas Pepe. And we all know how that ended. I am messing with you.
You are looking at it. But you get my point. A lot of rival fans are looking at this and thinking, well, he might be bad. You overpaid. But the reality is, there are no indications that he will be bad. There are more indications that he will be good than being bad. For example, when Liverpool signed Szoboszlai, he looked brilliant. Right?
Yeah.
With Leipzig, right? No one knew that maybe he won't live up to the hype. I always say that it is hard for me to sit here and assume against all the odds and all the indications that a player will be bad. I don't think he will be bad. Unless he's going to come in as an 18 years old and, as Olo said, start for Manchester United week in, week out at 18 years old at Old Trafford. That is tough. That is gotta be tough. Do you know my point? Like, to be honest, this is going to be unfair. It's unfair for us to sit here and say, well, he might be bad. Why you won't say he might be good? Why?
That's why I say it's this. I'm more interested in knowing how he settles mentally into that team than it physically, because again, you see so many players who've got great skill. I mean, when you make it to professional football, you are the top 1% of all football players in the world, right? And football is played in every single street corner. So there's billions of people who play football. So to become a professional footballer, you are one of the top percent. But what is the difference between the top and the top is the mentality, and that's where it's going to be interesting to see if he settles with the pressure. But sorry, Jamie, I
want to moving on. I want to move on. Last, go ahead, Jamie. I want to move on from Man United, guys. We still have over 350 people here, guys. Let's get to 200 likes live, guys. Hit that like button, guys. If you're here, hit that like button. I want to know what people think. I want to move on to Trent, to that Liverpool. Liverpool aren't spoken about enough. Liverpool are going under the radar. Liverpool without signing are going under the radar. There's not a lot of people are talking about Liverpool. There's not a lot of people are talking about this Trent thing with Real Madrid. And HUSAM is saying that it's not happening. I don't know why he's saying that unless he knows something I don't know. Maybe he knows something I don't know about.
It's dodgy.
Right? Maybe he has links in the club. Maybe he knows something. But I'm going to talk about the Trent thing. And I want the people in the chat to get involved in this. Why not? Is it only because it's a boyhood club? 1 year left. Hasn't renewed yet. New manager. Future unknown. Why not?
I think he goes. I think he goes. I don't think he goes this summer, but I do think it's going to be impossible to make him sign a new contract because Real Madrid, look, they're the biggest pool in football. No matter who we support, Real Madrid are the biggest pool in football. If Real Madrid fancy a player and that player fancies Madrid, it usually happens, don't it? It's just the case. I think when a player gets to the 12 months left in his contract, usually the player has all the power over the club. Because what's going to happen now? Trent's going to go into negotiations with Liverpool, and they're going to say like he's going to go, look, Madrid want me. It's Real Madrid. I could go to Real Madrid tomorrow and play right back and win everything at Real Madrid and be a legend, right? And I'm probably going to win more at Real Madrid than I am going to win in my whole career at Liverpool in combined trophies. And they're going to pay me whatever I want. He's going to put a number on the table, and it's going to be up to Liverpool to give him that number. You know what I mean? This is the problem we've got now. And also, there's a PR part of this as well. And people might not think this is part of it, but from a Liverpool point of view, and Liverpool fans, we see it like this. So, Trent, if he's number one right back for Real Madrid in a year or two's time, straight away, the PR is mad and he's considered the best right back in the world. Then he's considered number one right back for England. And all those people in the media that spoke about Trent's defending will go away. Because if he's right back for Real Madrid, he could be right back for England. He's right back. It's a PR thing. We know football with PR is mad. Look at Jude Bellingham. His PR is mad for the basic player he is. It's the way it is. And I think Trent might be looking at that because Trent, as a Scouser, he does actually really like playing for England. You know, a lot of Liverpool fans don't like it, but he does actually like playing for England. Jude Bellingham, people might not like it, but they're like best mates. Even their mums are best mates. There is Paul there. He's the one, because I do think Virgil and Salah sign up new deals because I just don't see where they go, even as a free. So I think they'll sign up new deals. I do worry about Trent. Trent's the one I even as a Liverpool fan, I'm worried about it because the pool of Real Madrid is mad and you've got a year left in your contract. Well, look, he's on 180 a week at the moment, Trent Alexander-Arnold. Liverpool go after offer him 250, 260 a week, equal to what Reece James gets as a right back for Chelsea. And then offer him the right bonuses on top and whatever else he wants. But the pool of Real Madrid is mad. I'm not a stupid Liverpool fan. I'm not going to sit here and pretend he's going to sign, he's going to be a legend. We live in different times now. And the pool of Real Madrid is huge.
I think Liverpool could be in a very, very scary situation. I'll be really honest, man. If Slot don't hit the ground running as a manager for you guys, there is a chance that you go into not this season, you go into next season with no Salah, no Van Dijk, and no Trent Alexander-Arnold, and you'll lose Trent for free. You'll lose Salah. When does Salah's contract run out?
Next season.
Everyone runs out in 12 months.
Well, you could lose all of them for free. And if you lose all of them for free, I feel like it will be very, very, very hard for Liverpool to find their way back. I'll be honest, because what will need to happen is you'll need to hope for some youngsters to come through, and also hope to find a few gems in the market, because you can't lose Trent, Salah, and Van Dijk. Like, even spending money, will be very hard to replace them 3 players for Liverpool, let alone getting no money for them and trying to replace all 3 of them with the money that you just have as a club. It's going to be so hard. And if Slot don't come in and do well as a manager, it's going to end up being, it could end up being really scary for Liverpool. Liverpool could end up falling back down like the list of how good the teams in England are. Like, and that's not even me being like against Liverpool.
I hear you. I hear everything you say. I personally think Virgil and Salah will stay. My worry is Trent. Also, everyone keeps saying about like slots and unknown. Arteta was an unknown.
Yeah, no, listen.
This is what I'm saying. But if you actually look at Arne Slot's coaching career, what he did at AZ Alkmaar and Feyenoord, he's actually really exceptionally good. You know, he's obviously a very good coach, and now he's coming to Liverpool with far better players. Liverpool got a good squad. If Liverpool, look, for the next 12 months, let's say Trent, Virgil, and Salah all stay this season, they all stay this season, and they all stuck in. I don't see any of them down in tools personally. So they stay for 12 months.
And nobody downs tool.
No, with the squad that we already got, and we go in the market and get that defensive midfielder or that centre back that we need. I'm perfectly happy with that squad going on for that next 12 months. But letting these 3 guys go down to 12 months of their contract is a disgrace. There's no doubt about it. They're your 3 top players. I'm all right also letting Salah and Virgil go for free. Right?
I think Salah goes 100% for free. I don't think he signs a new contract, because I'll be honest, he wants to go to Saudi, and the money
he doesn't actually.
Money
he doesn't actually.
Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. We don't know. Neither of us know for sure. But what I will say is the bag that they will offer him, money, will set his family and himself up. But I know he's probably already set, but these the money they're going to offer him on a free transfer as just money personally to him, they offered you guys. See, this is where Liverpool, in my opinion, made the biggest fuck up ever. When you got offered 200 million for Mohamed Salah last season, you should have took it and run. And the reason I say that is because Salah's an amazing player. He wouldn't have really been replaceable and that, but the way your club is run, that 200 million, I think for the benefit of the club, you needed to take the 200 million. And it might have not. I
am actually with him. This was your Coutinho moment. This was your Van Dijk Salah moment. This was your Coutinho moment last season. The 200 million was the Coutinho money that you got. Didn't you get Alisson and Van Dijk with the Coutinho money?
We bought Van Dijk before we sold Coutinho.
But I think this was the moment where Liverpool gets 200 million, invest it wisely, and completely destroy the market with this money. Completely destroy the market. And I get it. Like, a lot of people said that if we didn't have Salah last season, we might have not had top 4, right? Maybe. Salah was 50% of your attack last season, maybe. But I believed in Jurgen Klopp to be able to manage and win the games without Salah and still get top 4 and have the money. If Salah signs a new contract, all what I'm saying and all what Giuseppe is saying is rubbish, garbage, done. He signs a new contract, he stays.
So if we go back to the original sort of talking points, and I was still leading to Trent. So the worry for Liverpool fans, I would say, is this: there's a history of Real Madrid taking Liverpool players who seem to be quite, entrenched into the club. Owen, McManaman, right? So, it's not like it's impossible. Now, the only thing I'll say for Trent, and my fear for him personally of going to Real Madrid is, like you said, like the defensive issues is something that's been talked about. The problem with Real Madrid is that it's a sink or swim situation, and it's a club where even Ronaldo was booed and whistled at certain points, and that white handkerchiefs came out, right? And if I was sort of advising Trent, I would say stay in Liverpool, because despite your deficiencies, that club, the people of Liverpool they still they defend you, they own you. Like they don't just like throw you behind under the bus. In Real Madrid, they will throw you under the bus if you don't perform. Eventually, every single player who's played for Real Madrid has been whistled and booed. I don't think Trent will have the support unit in Spain if he makes the same basic mistakes that he makes. And don't get me wrong, Real Madrid traditionally.
Are you saying you don't trust Trent?
I don't think I've always said this. You play Trent because of what he gives you is greater than the mistakes he makes. That's my view. He's always going to make mistakes. But what he gives you is more. The problem is that in Real Madrid, where things are magnified, right? And like I said, the famous white handkerchiefs come out and they would boo and whistle and do whatever it is can he deal with that? Right? And I'm not saying
he has his support. He has his support.
Exactly.
Liverpool.
He's got support Liverpool. And that's the danger.
All due respect, bro. In my opinion, not from you, from if that is what Trent's thinking and that's loser mentality. That's him saying, well, I'm comfortable with it. He owes Liverpool nothing now. He's won everything there. He's won every single cup.
He wants to leave.
He's won he's had a career where he's won every single cup that is possible in England, right? Including the Champions League with that team with Liverpool. Why not try and go to a team that could dominate everything with Mbappe, with Vinicius Jr., with Bellingham, with Tchouaméni, Camavinga, these guys? It's crazy. For him to not want to go there would be insane to me. And the thing is, we don't know what Real Madrid will do with him. Real Madrid are funky. Real Madrid might even try and do the midfield thing with him sometimes.
I don't think they would. I don't think they would because there's too stacked in midfield for that.
They would use him as a South American fullback.
Yeah,
that's how I would use him because that's what Trent is. Trent is a South American fullback who's just English.
Yeah,
that's what he is. That's what he is.
But I think that listen, Giuseppe, I totally agree with you. Sometimes it is loser mentality, right? If you don't want to go challenge yourself, it is loser mentality. I totally agree with that. I just think sometimes though, it's better the devil you know than the devil you don't, right? And you're talking about a guy it's his career ultimately, and if he fails, and people say he can just come back to Liverpool. Look at the amount of players who have left the club and come back and not been the same because the environment has changed. The sentiment of them leaving and coming back is not the same. So it's not simple as just saying you come back, but also as well, like even Real Madrid. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't believe this at all. But again, I'm fortunate enough to watch Real Madrid under the original Galacticos, where they had so many world-class players and names that it failed. Because eventually you had too many egos, and you were trying to fit too many great players on the pitch at one time, and eventually that system just broke. And what the Ancelotti has done well is actually build with his new Galactico is fit that. But then you add in Mbappe, and then you add in Trent, and you add another player to that, and all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, like there's just too many superstars, and there's too many players who want the ball, want to do this. And Trent's greatest like strength is he has to have the ball. He's a playmaker from right back. Now you're taking to a situation where he doesn't get the ball at all. He's just running up and down the wing. You're taking away from his strength, and that's where it's just like actually sometimes common sense has to just prevail on some of these players. You don't just jump at every opportunity in front of you because
I'll tell you why I disagree with you a little bit before we move on to Arsenal. Because I think at the current moment the only sellable asset for Liverpool at the current moment is Trent.
Well, Trent and Alisson probably.
Maybe, but I don't think you'll sell the Alisson.
No,
because
Alisson,
you can replace Trent.
Yeah,
you can get you can get a right back. You can scout a right back. You can get a right back. I don't think you get another Alisson though.
No.
Apart from there is Luis Diaz, there is Nunes, and I'm talking about from the big players, the superstars of the team. That the four, in my opinion, there's 4 pillars at Liverpool: Trent, Salah, Van Dijk, Alisson. These are the 4 pillars of Liverpool at the current moment. I think maybe if he doesn't renew the contract, Liverpool will think about cashing in 80-something million or 90 or 100 million.
It's got to be between 80 and 100 million to let him go this summer. Yeah.
Exactly. Maybe. But I think I see it happening if he doesn't renew. But I think from all the people, I think the one who renews is Trent. He's going to renew on a 250 or a 300K a week. He's a superstar. He's going to renew that. Yeah. But moving on from this, guys.
Also, I wanted to leave because he's been a bane at Arsenal with some of the crosses that he's put in last minute. So I want him to go through and read it far away. But
also, it depends where Trent wants to play as well. Trent. When you listen to Trent in interviews, I do think Trent feels like he is a midfielder at times now, And like, if Liverpool go to him, look, right, you sign a new deal here, we'll give you 250 a week, 4-year deal, but we're going to start playing you in that midfield role, build a team around you there. You know, that might be enough for him to say, it don't matter if it's Real Madrid, that's what I'm going to do. You know, it's going to be an interesting one for Liverpool fans, me included. It is going to be a bit, till he actually puts pen to paper somewhere, it is going to be a bit worrying. There's no doubt about it. But
Guys,
I do believe all three stay this summer. I do believe that.
Yeah, there is 300 people here, guys. We need to get to 200 likes. Last part of the show is the Arsenal show, which is surprisingly on Footy Judgemo. For the people that have been following, I spoke a lot about Arsenal last season. Most of the shows are about Arsenal. Arsenal are quiet. I actually want to start with Thomas Partey deciding to stay his last year and leaving on a free next season. Only you're shaking your head. What do you think about that?
I don't know. That's the problem. I don't know. A part of me is like, you know, at some point we need to cut away from the need to always have him in the background. So I always have him there and the excuse. But at the same time, like when he's on form, I think he's not a unique midfielder, because I think there are players who can play similar to him, but he's just so good when he's on form. The problem is that it's that you, as an Arsenal fan, you start to say, when we get Partey back, and eventually you get to like March and you go, wait a minute, is Partey coming back? And so it's kind of, I think, my head says we should cut loose from Partey. My heart says that actually, if he does stay fit, him and Rice is just such a good combination with the rotation of someone like a Jorginho. But then it means that we're not solving one of our midfield problems, which I think is a left-sided midfielder.
For me, it would all depend on an offer that we get for him. Because if we get offered 20 million for Thomas Partey, I'd rather lose him on a free and have him next season. If we get 40 million plus for him, that's a different story. Then I think we got to take it. But if we got to get 20 million for him, I think it's worth sacrificing 20 million to have him next season. Furthermore, very rare do you have someone as injured as he was last season be as injured the season after. Normally they recoup enough through that season, and if we remember rightly, the season before last season he actually played majority of the season. Last season was a strange one with him. So if we can get 70% out of him next season, 70% of the season out of him next year will be worth 20 million for me. Yeah,
but
I'm going to tell you one thing. I actually think Thomas Partey staying at Arsenal can be the difference between them winning the league or losing the league. I said that to Giuseppe before we start. If Thomas Partey stays next season and you have Jorginho and you sign another midfielder, but you need to sign another midfielder, and if Thomas Partey even gets you 25 games a season, next season, the important games, I think you win the league. Because I think Arsenal will play a lot of back-to-back games, like weekends and weekdays, you know, like a Tuesday and a Saturday. And I think you can get him one game a week. I actually think if he stays fit and you get him for 25 games, I think he can be the difference between you winning the league or not. Because there is nobody. Healthy Thomas Partey, only Rodri's better.
You know, I don't disagree. The only issue is that one, he's getting older, and two, the injuries he's getting is muscular. And most people say you want a player to break their leg rather than have muscle injuries, because muscle injuries are reoccurring. Like, I guess to a point, especially as you get older, that you don't recover as well as you did when you were younger. And if you have him, he missed what? I was looking at it, he missed over 112 days last year with a muscle injury. That is the worry. And that's where it's like, that's where the part of my brain goes, actually, he's getting older and he's not going to recover as quickly, and it's very difficult to keep a muscle injury. Like, it's not like an impact injury where you can just say this is the reason why it happened. Like a Timber was an impact injury. His is, he could be running and all of a sudden his hamstrings decide to go, and that's where my fear is in terms of keeping him and not essentially pulling away that safety, whatever it is, popping the safety jacket, removing it, and just saying, actually get a better plane, as opposed to using a old rickety plane that might work, but you don't know whether it's going to go down or not. Go get go and buy a midfielder who can fulfill that left central midfield role, or even the defensive midfielder alongside Rice, and let Rice do what he does best, which is driving with the ball. That's my worry. But my heart does say that he is in terms of his quality, very close to what Rodri is for Man City in terms of being able to work in on the turn and sort of beat the press and pass the ball out of the defensive midfield position.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I'm looking at the stats
I
as
think if
well.
he stays, the thing about Thomas Partey, to be honest, is that he completes that midfield, and nobody can argue that. The problem is he's injured last season, and
He missed.
it might actually see.
Mo, last season he missed 34 games for us last season.
I know. He was only fit the
Yeah.
first 2 games and the last 2 games.
Yeah,
Exactly.
But the season before that, he only missed 6 games. Now, if we can get that only missing 6 games out of him next season, I agree with Mo. You just let him go for a free.
I think it's gonna be hard to get the 6, just him missing 6 games with his age and the amount of damage.
If you rely on
that
him,
could be on his hamstring.
like Mo's saying, if we rely on him, if we don't sign another midfielder,
You don't have to rely on him. So here's the thing: you sign a Moreno, or you sign a Zubimendi or whoever, and you keep Thomas Partey. Thomas Partey fit. You play the guy, right? And you have another option in the midfield. You do not keep the same team with Thomas Partey in it. You still sign another midfielder that will replace him. You don't rely on Jorginho when Thomas Partey's injured. You don't rely on Smith Rowe. You don't push Havertz to be the 8 or Trossard to be the 8. No, you don't do that. You have attackers as attackers, midfielders as midfielders.
I agree.
You lack a midfielder there. Simple.
Yeah.
25 games, you have him fit. You're good to go. That is the thing. If you get in 20 million, it's not worth it. It's definitely not worth
Yeah,
it.
no, 100%. And the thing is, as well, with us, if we buy a Moreno or Meneno, I can't think how you say his name.
Moreno.
But Moreno, we've also got a youngster called Skelly. I don't know if you know him, Mo. I know you know him, brother. But he looks like quite decent, and he'll start.
Who's that?
He's a young Arsenal player, and he's coming through. And I think this is a season where he can start breaking into games. Like, he won't be a mainstay or whatever. So you've got Moreno coming in, and you got this guy.
No, Arsenal shouldn't do that. No. Arsenal shouldn't do this at all. Like, bro, you aren't Man City after winning a back-to-back leagues, implementing a Rico Lewis here and there. You shouldn't do that. You aren't Man City implementing a youngster. There is no room for error, bro. There is no room for, well, this guy can come in. There is no room. I don't think Arsenal should do that at all. You do that when you win the league and you go the season after and your squad is complete and you say, I might play this kid here to see how it goes for 30 minutes or something. You don't go into the season relying on a youngster to fill in if someone gets injured.
Oh no. I don't. No. By the way, I don't rely on him. What I'm trying to say is, next season, while Partey's there, you groom this kid to see if the season after that, then when you lose Partey for free, you can either go sign someone else, or you can already have maybe a replacement or a squad player there for the season after. I'm not saying for next season have him. I'm saying that's why it's not bad to keep Partey and let him go for a free, because you can then use it for that. You can use him, get him in the first team, like around the first team, not playing, but around the first team, maybe off the bench sometimes, cup games, stuff like that. Because I agree. That's why when Arsenal fans are crying, because a lot of Arsenal fans have been crying, we're letting this guy leave on a free. We're letting these youngsters leave Arsenal. They're not giving the youngsters a chance, brother. This is giving the youngsters a chance thing. Like, it is bullshit to me when you're trying to get the league title, bruv. Like, listen, I like the youngster thing. I like having it, but let's be honest, if these same fans that are crying, these same Arsenal fans, they piss me off, because the same ones that are crying that we're letting these guys go and we're not showing them a path. If we had been playing them last season and then didn't win the league, they would have all said, because he's playing these youngsters, that's the reason we didn't win the league. You can't have it both ways. Now it's only the creme de la creme of young players are going to come through the youth system into the team. That's what happens when you win leagues and you compete. That's what happens. Like, even when you see, let's be honest, people go, oh yeah, Rico Lewis, he got a chance, yeah, but he didn't really play that much. Rico Lewis, and he was more established than the players that were letting go for free. These youngsters that ain't signing pro deals because they can't be guaranteed time. So yeah.
We'll see how Arsenal goes, but to be honest with you, I'm worried about Arsenal with this Calafiori deal. I'll talk about it tomorrow on the show. Actually, it looks like Liverpool might actually swoop in and actually try to hijack the deal. Actually, by the way,
Hey,
I don't
let
think that's going to happen.
them do it.
I don't think it's going to happen at all, because I think that it's nothing to do with Arsenal's side of things, that we're not signing him personally. I think it's all agreed. I think it's just Bologna saying, give us a little bit of time to try and get them to either come down or us to find a replacement. And why would he choose Liverpool over Arsenal? I can't understand why, when he's already agreed.
Because you can't sign him.
Well,
because Bologna ordered him to go to the preseason.
Yeah, that happens more. But that happens all the time.
Scaremongering. I think they're trying to.
That happens.
That happens all the scare Basel into lowering their 50%.
I know.
Yeah, I know.
You don't know.
Also, that happens. Listen, that happens all the time. The amount of times you see transfers that they come in and they go, you know, it's taking so long. They ask a player to. I mean, Enzo was a great example last January, right? When he even played a game for Benfica, and Rui Costa was like, "You're not leaving." Eventually, he ended up in Chelsea. So listen, it might happen. It might not happen. We don't know. But I'll say one positive though. Sorry, Giuseppe, before you jump in with a very important point. The most important thing that you got to realize is that we have seen him in an Arsenal jersey. When he was a child.
Anyway, listen, we gotta end the show. I gotta end the show because I got something to do. But listen, people, Giuseppe's channel is in the description. Jamie's channel is in the description, of course, guys. And Ahmed, his channel is in the description. I want to thank everyone that joined us. We are, I think, if I'm not mistaken, we're actually less than 10 likes away from 200 likes. So hit that like button, people. Get us to 200. Like the video before you go. I want to thank everyone that joined us. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow on the Rational League show. And thank you guys. This will take you to Lewis. I know he's talking about Enzo, whatever. And we'll see you guys soon. We're out of here, people. Appreciate you guys. See you guys soon.